deleting, so you can select it with the arrow over here, and your razor blade. And these are probably your two most important tools, your arrow and your razor blade, because you'll be doing a lot of cutting and selecting. So I brought it back to the arrow again so I could select it, and you can see that they're selected, and now I just hit delete. So I've deleted it. I don't know what I'm cutting, actually. I hope it's not something important that he said. So, okay, now I want to add a title slide, or a text slide. As you probably know, I sent out an email, and it's on the Street Computer as well. There's a file called newscast intro, so import files. Final Cut, so file, intro, so I want the QuickTime.mov version. Choose. Okay, selected that. Dragging, or I made it shorter, and you can do that by just dragging it to the cursor, and this is your playhead, I guess, but I usually call it a cursor. And then I can add in the audio, which was highlight reel. That's what we use for our intro, highlight reel. And you can see we have multiple tracks, so I can just like drag it here too. But that cuts out the audio, so you want to put it under a smaller track, or under that track. So that's here. Oh, and obviously when it's not rendered, it'll sound like that. So that's why you need to render it when you're in the timeline. Okay, I'm gonna cut it so that it's sort of like making a puzzle, which is pretty cool. Deleting that, putting that back up there, and you can sort of see a preview of it in your canvas, which is right here. This is your canvas over here, and this is your viewer. Obviously you can't see anything because it's unrendered. And so I just finished my intro. I would render that. That's going to take a little time though, so I'm just going to skip to rendering this so that I can add a text slide. So when you're doing an interview, just make sure to add an intro and an ending. So to do that, you go to Effects over here. So under Effects, there's Video Generators and Text. And for the ending, we usually use scrolling text, but for everything else, we use regular text. Or if you're doing a title of someone, you use a lower third. So if I know later I'm going to write in John Perry's name, so I put a lower third on top of his name. And you don't want it to go throughout the whole thing, just a few seconds, just so people know who he is and have enough time to read it. And over here it would show up as John Perry, class of 12, or class of 13, and then under it, staff writer for news, so his title. So his name and then his title. And to do that, you would double click on the effect, go to controls, change his name here, John Perry. Okay, I can't really type here, but this would say staff writer for news, and then you can see video, and you can see that it changed over here. And the standard style for the Prince videos is Lucida Grande, and then over here we use 24, and over here we use 20, size 20 for line 2, for text 2. So on your video it says his name and then his title. That's obviously not his title, but okay, so we just added his title, and he's beginning his interview. So you'll have the intro, and then you'll have the video, and then scrolling text over here. So the scrolling text is usually option G. That gives you the copyright symbol. So publishing. This is really hard with one hand. Sorry. Company. And then comma incorporated INC dot. And then next line, all rights reserved. So that's the standard. You should probably also, if you made this video on your own, then produced and edited by your name and your class year. And then you can see over here a video, or you can't really see it because it hasn't been rendered yet, but this is what it'll show up like. You can see a preview of your videos in the canvas on the right side. So that's what it's going to show up like, and you can see that the font is kind of large, so what we usually do is make it 24, and that automatically changes this. Daily Princetonian Publishing Company Incorporated, and then the final thing would be to put in the audio. So I'm putting in the audio down here. It doesn't look like it matched up, so I'm going to put up here. And you'll notice that there are 2 audio tracks. One is for your left ear and one is for your right ear, so don't be too concerned. There's always 2 tracks for an audio, but for video there's only 1. And you can always layer things. So if I actually wanted John talking and to hear the music, you can't hear it right now, sorry. I would render it, selection. Okay, so we're at the final steps now. We created the we've just overlaid the scrolling text above the music. I moved the curtain call music to the first first and second audio track, and if you remember again, we went to controls and wrote in all of this, the Daily Princetonian Publishing Company, all rights reserved. And the music is there, so it looks like we're ready. What we're gonna do is select all of this, so all of our files, and go to sequence, render, selection, both, or you could even do render all and then both to make sure you're rendering everything. That's gonna take a short amount of time. It's rendering everything. Okay, so now it's done rendering. You can see that there are no red lines, and there are no red lines above the playhead. That means that it's fully rendered. And now what you can do is you can go to File. First you want to save project. There's an autosave feature, but you want to make sure you're saving all the time. And go to Export using QuickTime Conversion, because now we're ready to publish this and put this up on YouTube. So right now it says sequence1.mov. We can rename this to whatever we want to call it. So this is an intro to Final Cut video. So I just renamed it intro to final.mov, and you want to save this again in that same folder. So Prince News 040810 underscore intro, and then save. So now what it's doing is it's going to save it in that main folder. It's saving right now. Oftentimes this can take up to 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how long the video is. Fortunately, ours is only about 20 seconds, so it won't take very long. And after we export it, it will be a .mov file. Right now what we saved it as, and what it was auto-saving as, was a .fcp file, which is Final Cut Pro. That's what it stands for. And when it's ready to be a .mov file, we'll see that when we go to our Finder, let's see, it says 04018 intro, and then we have this .mov file right here, and we can even play it. So this is ready as a .mov file, and what we want to do now is go to YouTube. My internet connection's not working right now, but basically whoever the multimedia editor is that you're working with, let them know, and upload it to YouTube through the Daily Princetonian account, and you should be ready to go. Thanks for sticking it out with me. I know this was a really long video.